right. Sorry, we're getting a bit of a late start here. Just hoping Logan will be able to hop on before we get going.
If we're getting a late start, I may have to jump off early if that's okay.
Oh yeah, no, that's okay. Well, I mean, we'll have the live stream, posted if you want to catch the end.
Okay. I just get a 30-minute lunch. That's it. So
well, hey, we really appreciate you giving us every minute of your lunch. It's crazy. Super dedicated.
So I said on one of the posts, you might see me. I'm probably gonna be stuffing my face every single time now.
Yeah.
Is that Barb? That's Barb. Hi, Barb.
Hey, Logan.
Hi, Logan.
Hey, sorry, having a lot of issues, but we got it going.
All right. Cool. Well, thanks for joining. And we don't have as many people on here as I was thinking we would. But we're streaming it in the group, and I posted the link in the group just in case anyone else is having issues getting in. So hopefully that'll help. But we're already kind of 5 minutes past, so I'd like to get going here. So today we're going to be talking about mind hacking, or something similar. Basically, it's just the concept of, now that we have a foundation of mindfulness and awareness of our body, how can we use that perception or that awareness to also influence our mindset. So we're kind of becoming more aware of our mindset and what that means. But today we're going to talk about some tools that we can use to kind of change our mindset. And we do that using that kind of connection that the body and the mind have. They're inextricably linked. You can't do something to your mind without impacting your body in some way, and vice versa, right? So we are going to, Logan, you want me to launch the slides?
Yeah, go ahead. I've got it up on my computer, but obviously it's not going to do me any good on my phone. So.
All right. So I'll go ahead and get this launched. Okay. Sorry here. Let's see. Okay, can you guys see these slides? Yes?
Yes.
All right. Okay. So Logan and I are going to kind of co-host this because I think we both use some of these things in our own lives for various reasons. But essentially, what we're going to be talking about today is the manner in which we can actually exert some control over these mental processes that are occurring kind of every minute, every second of every day of our lives, that really can make a big difference in what we can accomplish and what we feel like accomplishing. Let me make sure. So basically, we're trying to use this program as a launchpad for habit formation and change. So what's really interesting is that there's emerging research that shows that when they're looking at neuroplasticity and the ability of the mind to actually effectuate change, that adult minds, no matter the age, can actually be just as pliable as the minds of children. But it takes three actual inputs that are a lot harder for adults to consistently come up with, and also it's a lot harder for us in terms of we have to really be intentional about it. But when you when you combine the right three ingredients, we can change the pathways in our brain to the same degree that you can even in childhood. And those three ingredients are focus, motivation, and the ability to restore and reset through deep sleep and relaxation. So we've talked about stress, we've talked about mindfulness, we've talked about sleep, and this lesson is kind of a way to put that all together to hopefully help you act on that and make changes in your life. So basically, in terms of creating motivation, there is the ability to do that. Sorry, I need to review these slides. Okay. Logan, do we have a slide in here? Sorry, I should know this, about the different layers of mental processes?
I do not believe. Yes, there you go. It's the fifth one. Fifth one down.
So I just want to talk about this first, just because I think this is kind of an important building block to being able to talk about how we can control our emotions and thoughts. So basically, there are 5 key mental processes that are happening all the time in our heads. There's sensation, which is basically your mind receiving the input from your body, from your sensory organs. It's non-negotiable. It is completely, and what I mean by that is it's completely influenced by your environment. You can change your environment, but you can't change the fact that your nerve endings on your fingers are feeling what you're touching, and your optic nerve is processing everything that is in your field of vision. But what we get out of that sensation is our perception, and that actually we can shift, right? You can focus on listening, what you're listening to rather than what you're watching, right? You can shift your perception, and that's basically the foundation of focus, is what inputs of all those sensations we choose to focus on, or sometimes our perception is passive. Often it's passive. We just perceive what's happening, but we do have the ability to shift that. Then there's emotions, which are bodily sensations, due to our neurotransmitters, or our mental pathways that exist, that are triggered by the perceptions that we have. So you see something that's troubling and you get upset, you get worked up, or you see something that's heartwarming and you feel full and you feel happy. Those emotions are extremely important, and there are they're much deeper than thoughts, which are the next level, which are either spontaneous ideation, thoughts that just pop into your head, or thoughts that we control, being intentionally thoughtful, like I'm going to think about this, or I'm going to work on this story and write it, or whatever that might be. So thoughts are a little bit easier to understand how we control those, and mindfulness is often about being thoughtful, but it can also, when taken to a deeper level, it can also allow us to control, to some degree, the emotions that we feel too. And then at the end, the kind of most conspicuous mental process is action, which is where the brain sends a signal to your body that you need to do something, and you do it, right? So those are kind of the layers of our mental processes. And now I'll jump back. What's really key to understanding, I think, here is that though all of those things, but particularly our emotional state, are going to be very, very important to understanding our ability to stick with the program or to make a change in our lives. Often people feel a lack of motivation or a lack of focus, and there are some specific things that you can do to your body. Using my favorite is just using that connection between the breath and the body and the mind, because it's something that can be done very simply. At the drop of a hat, you feel a certain way. If you know how to use your breath to control your emotional state and control your mindset, you can use that in a very, very powerful way, whether that's to manage stress, in terms of decreasing stress if you feel overwhelmed, or in terms of creating that transient stress if you feel like a lack of motivation. So this slide, something from nothing, it's like if you feel like you're not motivated or you're not focused and you can't really get yourself to latch on to the thing you need to do. And I think we've all been there. I know that I'm probably there at least once a day, where it's like I know I have to do something and I'm like, I'd rather do something else or whatever. There is a very interesting and simple technique that you can use to create a sense of transient stress, which will motivate you to take action. And as long as you focus it right, it will motivate you to take the right action. So it's called, I think Logan's talked about it. I know Matt has posted about it too. There's a guy named Wim Hof, and he's like, they call him the Iceman. He's just like, he's superhuman. He owns lots of world records and does lots of crazy things. But he's kind of developed a framework to help the people that he works with to take action, and also to like his is like to survive like super stressful situations like running ultra marathons and stuff like that, which may not be the type of goals that all of you have. It's certainly not something that I'm have intention to do, but you can use these tools that he's developed. One of them is the Wim Hof breath, as it's been termed. It's really what it is. It's super oxygenated breathing, which is where you take lots of deep breaths, but in quick succession. So instead of slow, methodical, deep breathing, like the count 3 on your in breath and 5 on your out breath, this is a high up tempo deep breath that actually increases the amount of oxygen. You're basically expelling all that carbon dioxide that resides in your lungs. And what that does is it creates an adrenaline response. It releases that norepinephrine, and it motivates you, and it makes you feel that kind of sense of stress. You can accomplish the same thing by doing an ice bath or taking a cold shower or sitting outside in the winter, even going for a walk on a brisk morning. You know how it kind of peps you up if you've ever done that? It's because of the fact that you're kind of creating that stress. You're inducing that, and it's not bad stress. It's good stress as long as that's what you need. So being aware of kind of where you are in that stress continuum that was in one of those slides on stress management, where the guy was on the couch and it was like not stressed enough, and the guy was like going crazy and it was like too stressed, and then the guy that was playing with his kids and it's like right in the middle, the perfect amount. Understanding what that perfect amount or that right amount of stress is for you, and also knowing that kind of is a moving target. You never want to be like completely overwhelmed by stress. But you also don't usually want to be like completely vegged out to the point where you're just an observer in your life, unless you're like in the middle of meditation or something. But even that is a little more intentional. These are tools you can use to kind of move yourself along that continuum of stress, so that these are more tools to shift you towards a little bit of a heightened stress state, so that you can motivate yourself to take action, which is really the key. And it's what most of this mind hacking is about, is how do you put yourself in a frame of mind to break through that inertia that you have? Because, everybody knows, the Newton's like laws of physics and the law of inertia, where a body in motion tends to stay in motion, a body at rest tends to stay at rest. And there's I believe it's a coefficient of friction that you have to overcome if you're at rest to get moving. It's the same thing mentally. And so sometimes we need that little extra push, that little extra energy to overcome that friction. And this is what these techniques are designed to help you with. So I think we'll post a video of the Wim Hof breath. It's just, you watch the balloon or whatever it is. Yeah. And it's, yeah.
Yeah, he has a free app too. And it guides you through breathing, and it's pretty amazing. And what I love is it's better than a cup of coffee. It takes anywhere from 2 to 5 minutes to complete, but you'll experience results instantaneously.
Yep.
And it's really cool how using breath can both relax you. We talked about that a little earlier in the week, right? You're feeling stressed, you're feeling anxious, that deep breath in, those 2 kind of belly exhales just kind of mellows you out. But then we can also utilize breath to excite you, right? To give you energy, to give you motivation. And I like that kind of juxtaposition of it can mellow you out, it can get you going. And the nice thing is it's free. But I do want to say, when we do post a video, when we do share a link, and they'll go over this, as someone who's done this a lot myself, couple things: make sure you're sitting down. Make sure if you suffer from high blood pressure, asthma, you're very careful with doing it, because it is getting you excited, right? So just make sure you do your due diligence and be in the right spot at the right time if and when you practice this.
Yes, very important. Thank you, Logan. Yeah, so these are not tools to be used lightly. They are very powerful, and I would liken them to almost like like a pre-workout like drink. Those things have gotten they've exploded in popularity because they help people do exactly this. Now there are some physiological things too, that some of those ingredients they have some vasodilators and stuff, but you can get those same physiological effects by just controlling your body and taking advantage of that mind-body connection that exists. Uh-oh, my son's here, so sorry that he's with me right now. What's up? Logan, you want to take over for a second?
Absolutely. I'm glad it was his kid and not my dogs. So yeah, he's got control of the mic, but the most important thing here, guys, is obviously do your own research. We practice what we preach. We do our due diligence, but never jump into anything without good education. I'm going to open this up real quick. Do you guys have any questions over breathing, over cold exposure? Quick exercise. He said go for a brisk walk. I like that. It's intentional, but listen, if you're sluggish, do 5 jumping jacks just right there and then. Do a couple air squats. Do a little breathing, sit down for a second, stand up, do some jumping jacks, then you're ready to get going.
Yeah, and I think that is super important, because at the end of the day, the best thing that you can do to sustain that motivation is to take action. And once you take that action, then your default state kind of becomes to continue to take action. So this slide, basically, I don't think that's good Spanish based on my understanding.
Hey, I gave it to you before.
Yeah, I know. I meant to change it. Oh well, whatever. Action is everything, right? That's what that's.
There you go. That's what it's supposed to mean. Yeah.
And we want to have a bias for action, because action not only does it change your thoughts, emotion, and perception, but it also breeds more action. So that's why we want to have a bias for action. If you're sitting there and you're thinking about doing it, then get to a point where you just can stop thinking and start doing. And that's why in this 21-day challenge, we're trying to get you to take some sort of actions every single day, because if you just make that your pattern of behavior, it starts to create new pathways in the brain that facilitate more action. And success is based on is a decision that you make, and failure also is. So I mean, if you choose not to, within reason, I mean, if you choose not to take action, not to do that workout, often that's, it is a choice. It's often the path of least resistance, but we want to help you make those better choices and take the right action. So we already talked about the layers of mental processes, but basically, we want to talk about the outlook on outcome here. So you want to take this one away, Logan?
Yeah, sure. Ultimately, we'll go back to that success is a decision. And that's something I truly and wholeheartedly, make sure I'm unmuted. Yeah. Truly and wholeheartedly believe, if you want to lose weight, you can lose weight, right? If you want to get stronger, you can get stronger. It's unfortunately maybe not that simple. It takes effort. It takes work. But you can do what you set your mind to. Again, within reason. I don't necessarily want to go to the moon, and I don't know if I necessarily have the capacity for that. But when it comes to our fitness, when it comes to our health, we do have a lot of control. I want to go back to that Goggins, and Nate, you can stay where you are, but this is really powerful to me. It's that concept of motivation. Listen, motivation is great, but it comes and it goes. Action is everything. You do not need a motivation to go walk around the block. You do not need motivation to, run a marathon. What you need is dedication. What you need is a decision, and you need adherence to that dedication, to that decision. And if we can kind of change our mindset, if we can change our outlook on those things, it's really, 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 really powerful, and it gives you less outs, right? I wish I could lose weight, but I'm just not motivated to do that. Well, no, if you know you need to lose weight, right? If you know you need to be healthier, be healthier. And how you perceive that, how you look at that is really, really, really important. So what outlooks, what perspectives, beliefs, values, ideals do you currently hold about yourself, your life, your work? How do you feel about yourself? And this is something I've worked with some people, and again, obviously I'm not a clinician, I'm not a doctor, but I have worked with people in with depression. And what I've noticed is that they're very, very, very hard on themselves. They're self-defeating in the words they use. I'm stupid, I'm lazy, I'm not able to. By changing your outlook, just by saying positive things to yourself constantly, that can have a really powerful effect on how you approach everything. But you also have to know your why. Where did that outlook come from? Which outlooks are valuable to you at this point in your life? Which ones no longer serve you, or have you outgrown them? Right? I mean, how I view myself now is very different how I view myself, a year ago. But am I still holding on to how I viewed myself a year ago? Which are causing you to play small and not live up to your potential? How can you adopt more empowering outlooks? Self-belief, self-perception is very, very, very important. And I know a lot of us struggle with that. And a really easy tool that we can use is just developing a couple of mantras, a couple of positive sayings that we know are good about ourselves, and try to take those negative beliefs, those negative self-doubts, and flipping it, I'm stupid. No, I'm actually really, really smart. And by doing that, we can really, really set ourselves up for success in the long run. And, obviously it'll help us feel better about ourselves too. Do you want to move on to the next slide, Nathan? I don't have control. You got it?
You want this slide?
Yeah, I want to take this one because I'm a big saying guy. I know a bunch of you guys have done groups with me or worked with me one-on-one, even I know a few of you have. And I am a big believer in just positive sayings, right? And we can get deep, we can get a little bit silly, but men are not disturbed by events, but the views of which they take them, right? There's a great saying when I worked for the Salvation Army Family Store, they had it in the back, and it's there's no pain in change, there's simply pain and resistance to change, right? So being flexible, taking the negative or what can be perceived as negative, putting a positive spin on that is everything. That is life changing. Tony Robbins, I'm a big Robbins guy. We can change our lives. We can do, have, and be exactly what we wish. But what's important is that you know what you wish to be, right? If you don't really have a clear outlook, and that's where I think our SMART goals came in earlier this week, what do we want to accomplish? Okay, now we have to believe we can accomplish those things. I don't know if you have any How I Met Your Mother fans, but I actually say this to myself quite often. When I'm sad, I stop being sad and I be awesome instead. That to me, it's silly, yes, absolutely. But when I'm kind of down on myself, I just kind of try to flip the switch, right? I can go from down to up really quick with just simple things. And then, of course, if anybody's fan from Saturday Night Live in the 90s, I'm good enough, I'm smart enough, and doggone it, people like me. And it's having good, positive thoughts like this that even though it might not cause or create initial immediate change, by doing this consistently, by practicing these positive sayings or these positive outlooks about ourselves, over time, it's like anything else. It can become practiced and you can become better at it. It's almost a skill. Nathan, if you want to move on to the next one too.
Sure.
I went ahead and added just these are kind of randoms, right? And again, the whole idea of this day is giving you some tools, some ideas to help just better prepare you, better empower you to be successful in whatever your goals may be. So for me, a lot of times, and if I'm struggling with just making a decision, it could be a big life decision, and I'm just kind of on the fence. I apologize for my dogs; they've been pretty good. If I'm just on the fence, I'll actually go exercise, right? I'll actually go through a full workout that kind of takes my mind off of what I'm thinking, gives my mind a break, gets my body working, changes my focus a little bit. And then once I'm good, once I have that adrenaline going, once I'm finished with my workout, I've already accomplished something, I'm better apt to make a good decision. This is, if for those of you who are on that weight loss journey, hunger can be mimicked by thirst, right? So a lot of times when we're hungry, I can actually, that's my body telling me, hey, you're dehydrated. So if I have a drink of water, 8 to 12 ounces of water, um, guess what? Give myself 15 minutes. And I think that's one of our tasks today. Give myself 15 minutes or so. I can come back, reevaluate. Okay, am I really hungry or was I just thirsty? And this can save you calories, and this can, obviously hydration is a good thing too. Chewing your food, and I'm really bad at this. So it takes your brain around 12 minutes, 12 to 15 minutes to let you know that, hey, you're satiated, you're full, you don't need to eat anymore. If you take your time and you really focus on chewing your food, really focus on breaking that down too, obviously it's better for your digestion, but it will also extend the time of which you are eating, and hopefully make you feel fuller, and will stop you from overeating, right? If it takes you longer to eat, it takes your brain 10 to 15 minutes to kind of catch up to, hey, I'm full. By chewing your food completely, breaking it down, it's got positive effects for your gut, but it also can extend the time of your meal, and hopefully it'll limit your ability to overeat.
Yeah. Well, also
Taking a
hold on just one sec, Logan. I want to interject too, because to add to that on the chewing your food and just in general eating mindfully, and sometimes we can't always do that, right, Barb? When you've got like a 30-minute lunch break and you're slammed, but just eating more mindfully and cueing into enjoying the flavor of the food that you're eating, and in chewing and slowing down, not only will that give your body time to send those hunger signals or satiation signals to the brain, but also, if you practice that, it will help you become more in tune to where you actually are on that kind of hunger fullness scale. And we'll talk about mindful eating next week, but it is a really powerful thing. Not only because if you do it right, not only does it influence your ability to be in the moment while eating, but it also can improve your consciousness of your body and how you're really feeling, and when you really need to eat, and when sometimes eating is just habitual. So really a big deal for weight loss, and it starts with taking time to chew your food. So yeah, that's a really good hack.
And unmuted, hard to do on your phone. Taking a break, right? I think that's an important thing too. I know myself, and I definitely know Nathan, we can just be going, never giving our mind a time to just take a break. We can go back and take a look at our mindfulness exercises that we did a little earlier in the week. And the break doesn't have to be a long time, but if I'm having a hard time coming up with an answer, if I'm having a hard time making a decision, taking a break, practicing one of those breathing techniques, practicing mindfulness for 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes can go a long way. As we get into the winter, most of us are going to be inside, but there are things that you can do to mimic ultraviolet radiation. There are things you can do. Blue light will help boost your mood, right? And even though it's cold, if it's sunny outside, just go stand out in the sun for a minute, look up, close your eyes, and just take it in. That can be huge in boosting your mood. And then my favorite, which I don't obviously have any children, but I do have some dogs and cats, and I feel like hugging a loved one can have a similar effect, but that releasing that oxytocin, that feel good chemical. And just taking a moment, taking a break, going, hugging a loved one, petting your dog, giving them a little kiss, a little boop, can go a long way too, and just boosting your mood. So again, if you're feeling down, use a couple of these tricks, use a couple of these tools, because the combination of them all can really, really, really improve the quality of your day. And so today's task, a little harder to track. The second one's going to be the big one, but I think a lot of these have been done already. Just make sure that first one, make sure your goal is defined. Then more important, imagine achieving it. Take yourself through the process. If my goal is to lose 10 pounds in the next month, I'm going to take some time, sit back, close my eyes, and just envision what that journey is going to look like, and how I'm going to achieve that. Right. And more importantly, the fact that I am going to achieve that. Just be as detailed in that as you possibly can. May seem silly at first, but visualization is a very, very powerful tool. Number 2 is pick a weakness. And this can be anything, right? Like I drink too much soda, or I tend to have some really negative self-talk. And look up a way to overcome it and share that weakness and a way to overcome it with your community. Now, obviously, if it's too personal, maybe just write it down, so a place that only you can see. But if it is something simple that, hey, listen, I don't chew my food enough, or I don't get enough water. Empower yourself. Education is very, very powerful. And the great thing about the internet is it's all there for you already. So do your due diligence, research some ways to overcome, and then share what your weakness is and a way to overcome it in our community. Write down your goals somewhere. And it can be in the group, but journaling is a really powerful thing as well, because it makes it real. And this can be your SMART goal. This can be your short, your mid, and your long-term goals. But make sure it's written down and place it somewhere where you can see it consistently. It can be on a mirror. It can be on a refrigerator. It just somewhere where your goal is constantly in mind, in sight. This one's a simple one. Next time you're hungry and you don't think you should be, right? Because I know sometimes if I'm a little bored, that can manifest itself as hunger. If I'm a little thirsty, it can manifest itself as hunger. Drink some water, and cold water specifically. Wait 15 minutes and then reassess. And during that time too, hey, an apple a day keeps the doctor away, right? If you, indeed you are a little hungry, find something that's high in fiber and high in nutrients, nutrient dense. It's kind of jellyfishing a little bit, but has anybody ever had one donut, right? No, you don't. Generally speaking, when you have a donut, you have a couple or a few donuts. And the reason is we're getting a lot of calories, but we're not getting a lot of nutrition, right? They're calorically dense, but they're nutritionally void. So picking a nutritionally dense food that's even low in calorie and high in fiber, like an apple, oftentimes if you got a little bit of an appetite, that'll go a long way in filling you up with positive things. And then the next time you meal, if you think you're one of these, and I definitely am, I'll do this tonight, I promise, guys. If you finish your meal in less than 10 minutes, it's time to slow down. So maybe you don't realize how quickly you do eat. So time it, see if that's a fact. Oh, I do eat pretty quickly. And then the next time, drink a little bit more water in between your bites, chew your food a little bit more thoroughly, take a little bit more time, have a conversation with somebody while you're eating. Maybe that means getting the family going, eating at a table as opposed in front of the TV. But these are all simple things that you can do that can really set you up for success during these 21 days and well beyond.
Thanks, Logan. Let's see here. So yeah, just kind of to put a bow on the lesson, just kind of wrap up. I think at the beginning we said there are 3 ingredients that you need to develop new habits, new neural pathways: focus, motivation, and then sleep or deep relaxation to allow your brain the time to start forging those new pathways and generate those new connections, synapses between your neurons. So we talked about motivation a lot. For me, one of the big things that I struggle with is focus. I have ADD, and so often I just have 10 things going on at once. One thing that's, if you have any difficulty focusing, there's a few things that you can do to send a signal to your brain to help you focus. But one of the favorite things that I've started to do that's really helped a lot is it's a 2-part sigh. So basically you void your lungs, you just exhale completely, and then you do a 2-part in breath followed by a sigh. So it's, and you just do that 3 times. And I mean, I've found it's amazing. If I'm having trouble figuring out, what to work on or what to focus on, I think that's super helpful. And then as far as, the sleep side of things things go. It's super important, especially as we get older. It's important at any age, but it's almost like I think there was a TED Talk or a podcast or something, and there's a guy talking about neuroscience and how all this stuff works. And I'll find it and I'll put it in the resources. But basically, he said, you can have the best day ever. You can do everything that you wanted to do, and like take a first step in making like a new life for yourself. But if you don't sleep at the end of that, you're it's like it never even happened, because you're not giving your brain the ability to rest, restore, and to ingrain that new pathway into your consciousness. So it's very, very important that we kind of practice what we've preached these 5 prior days to make this all work well. But if we do this right, these are techniques and tactics that I think can really help make your journey a lot smoother, and really help you have a little bit more control over what is often thought of as something that is almost outside of your control, which is what's going on up here. So you guys have any questions? Thanks for sticking around a little bit past time with us.